we declare the following. The absence of a neocortex does not appear to preclude an organism from experiencing affective states. Convergent evidence indicates that non-human animals have the neuroanatomical, neurochemical, and neurophysiological substrates of conscious states, along with the capacity to exhibit intentional behaviors. Consequently, the weight of evidence indicates that humans are not unique in possessing the neurological substrates that generate consciousness. Non-human animals, including all mammals and birds, and many other creatures, including octopuses, also possess these same neurological substrates. I am your host, Tim Harris, and with me is my co-host, Jennifer Ruggiero, and this is Tech Anarchy.
Hi,
all right.
Tim. Wow, that was very interesting. I like the beginning of the show.
Well, unfortunately, I did not write that, although I wish I did.
Yeah.
This was a quote that came straight from Cambridge Declaration of Consciousness. Mm-hmm. And it starts off, on this day of July 7, 2012, a prominent international group of cognitive neuroscientists, neuropharmacologists, physiologists, neuroanatomists, and computational neuroscientists gathered at the University of Cambridge to reassess the neurobiological substrates of conscious experience and related behaviors in human and non-human animals. And they basically came together and they wrote this Declaration of Consciousness, but and we'll have it for the listeners in the show notes. But I thought it was a fascinating read. And something that, we all need to be aware of, just stepping out our door every morning as we listen to the birds and hear the dogs barking next door, that, there may be something more to this life than we anticipated.
Yeah, they all have their own ways of communicating, and the birds are just amazing to watch and listen to their patterns and watch what they do, and they're fascinating. And then same with the dogs, the cats, and I think a lot of them also communicate telepathically as well. They are on a different vibration. They kind of sink in vibrationally, in my opinion.
So according to this document, that is actually in this document, they have 4 bullets, and the second bullet actually is to that point. And I shall read from this document again. Birds appear to offer in their behavior, neurophysiology, and neuroanatomy a striking case of parallel evolution of consciousness. Evidence of near human-like levels of consciousness has been most dramatically observed in African gray parrots. Mammalian and avian emotional networks and cognitive microcircuitries appear to be far more homologous than previously thought. Moreover, certain species of birds have been found to exhibit neural sleep patterns similar to those of mammals, including REM sleep and, as we demonstrated in zebra finches, neurophysiological patterns previously thought to require a mammalian neocortex. So, I just see this as an amazing step forward. I have a problem when I see these, when I see Scientific American coming out with, their specials that they do every year. The human brain, or, we're one step closer into finding out what the human brain does. And, I just feel that this thing is just, one piece of the pie, that our brain may be like a conductor, and it's what we receive that's important. And I see this declaration of consciousness or unconsciousness as proof of that, that birds and other non-mammals kind of share these same traits, and they don't have the brains that we do.
Right. But they do share some. That it is nice to see that in writing, or to hear that, and you say that actually and read that. And I wholeheartedly believe that. I am an animal lover. And, I have a cat, a dog, and a bird. And
we have a cat and a dog.
Yeah. See? And they're like, I communicate with them, and I can understand cognitively what they are thinking and vice versa. And really with us, it's just understood. It's just, in my opinion, people might think I'm crazy, but it's telepathic. There's something that, for me to wake up in the middle of the night and look down and see my dog staring at me, telling me he has to go out. So how did he tell me that? How would I know that? It has to be something he's tapping into my head. He wasn't making he doesn't make noises. He just taps in. So,
that's interesting that you brought that up, because I believe I heard someone, and I wish I was prepared with this information, like more in-depth study on this, but I heard someone say that dogs were kind of the gatekeepers to our souls, that maybe it was a Native American thing where they believed that dogs helped us safely through the spiritual realms. They help guide us through and come back out okay. But anyways, I actually had kind of the same kind of event happen where I woke up one morning, or actually in the middle of the night, and my dog is just standing on all four legs, and she's just looking at me. And it's just the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I mean, she was just looking at me. Never had that happen before. She was just there. She was
communicating to you, and she woke you up.
Well, it was a pretty weird dream too. I think my grandfather was involved in that dream, and it was kind of weird, And then I woke up, and there she is. So, it's.
There's a lot more to it, and same with the plants.
There is definitely a lot more to it, isn't there?
Yeah, and same with the plants too. The plants react to our thought patterns, and I wish I had the study name. I'll have to look it up. But they react to our thought patterns. So, people say if you talk to plants, they grow better and they respond. But it is actually true. But it's your intention that you set forth as well. So if you intend to harm the plant will react. If you were to put like a lie detector test on the plant will react negatively, and it will be screaming on the chart. On the lie chart, just by sending that evil thought towards the plant. On the other side, if you send it loving plant of thoughts, it goes back down and it goes normal and steady. And it's a fascinating study. So I have this plant. I call him Walter, and he's a Norfolk pine, and I've had him for years. And every day, I talk to and he's just grown so beautifully. And I really just send him a lot of love. And I know it's kind of weird to call him Walter, but I don't know. I just do. And
well, there probably aren't that many pines near you.
No, there aren't. He's the only one.
Okay, so there you have it.
But he's grown so beautifully and huge and gorgeous. So, I definitely believe in that.
Well, yeah, you're gonna have to find that study, because
I'll find it. I have it in a book. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I thought that was a good way to start off the episode. Because we are bombarded with tech on a day-to-day basis, and 24/7 we absorb it just in the name of entertainment, and it's very easy to kind of think that everything about the world just because you're watching it, you think you're around it, but when you see studies like this and scientists just coming out, putting their foot down and saying no, we don't know everything about the world, and I thought that was a great little document there.
Yeah, good start.
Great. So we have a jam-packed in the news segment. I wanted to start off with this news that came from Japan, and this is coming from the Atlantic's website, and the headline is Japan's Cutthroat School System: A Cautionary Tale for the United States. And I read this news article last night and was just beside myself. So Jennifer, I hope you can keep my feet on the ground here.
Okay.
But so the article is basically raising the argument that kids are being tested too much, and that we have to look no further than Japan to see what this testing mentality is doing to their economy, and how it's stifling art and innovation, and instead is leading to the socioeconomic conditions that no one has ever seen before. Just recently there was an article or news that came from Japan, which basically alluded to the fact that females weren't that interested into males. They found it repulsive. And now I'm reading this article and I'm just thinking to myself, man, there are so many disconnects. I really wish that other journalists might be able to write counterpoints to this article, because I just think there are more stories than what I'm reading about. But when I hear that test taking is a reason why kids aren't creative, I just do not believe that. I don't know how it was when you were going to school, Jennifer, but when I was going to school, we had tests, but we also were highly creative and motivated individuals. All my friends, I probably had 12 of them that sat at the lunch table, and we all drew. I mean, we had our sketch pads out and we were drawing. And then later on down the line, we were creating our own role-playing games. And then as we got older, we were reading comics together, but we were definitely creating our own, our own little groups to hang out with. We weren't staying in this jock or whatever, the jock, or what do they call them, the black coats or whatever. We weren't staying in these cliques that you hear about in the media today. We kind of formed our own. And, we took tests. I mean, the education system was difficult. I mean, I wasn't a good test taker, but that doesn't mean that I don't think that tests are invalid. But to draw the correlation that test taking is the reason why kids aren't creative, or why the young workforce in Japan is not creative, I just don't believe that for 1 second.
No, that doesn't seem to really make sense. It just doesn't. I don't see how test taking could stifle creation, anybody's creative talents. The only thing I can think of is that maybe and I don't know, I have not lived in Japan, I haven't visited Japan, I don't know any Japanese students, but if it's very stringent, where they don't have any time to do anything else but to study, then that could be stifling because of the time that they're forced to dedicate. No, you cannot do this. You have to do this, this, and that, and study for these tests and learn this. And this is what we want you to learn. The other stuff is forbidden. If that's the case, then yeah, I can see it stifling their creative talents. But here in the States, though, I think the educational system is kind of poor. I don't think that students today are, from what I see, are as educated as when you and I were going through school. I think it's kind of downgrading. So maybe they're looking at this as an excuse to dumb down the citizens of the United States even further. Oh, well, testing doesn't work in Japan, it stifles creation. So let's just say that's going to be for here in the United States too. So let's dumb down the school system even more and make our children into more lemmings who don't think for themselves. And
you just said lemmings. That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's what they do, and that's what they want, right? They want a nation of followers that aren't going to think for themselves, and they're just going to, just
Well,
follow.
speaking of followers, we had a movie just come out recently, Hunger Games: Catching Fire.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
No.
It was quite good. I was into it last
Did you
night.
read the books?
I did not read the books, and I wish I did. But I'm just starting off by watching the movies. Did you read the books at all?
I didn't, and I didn't see the first film either. I kind of refused to see it because it portrays such a dark world, and I don't want to open my mind up to those dark worlds. So I don't like anything negative. I don't like watching negative films. I do like the comic book films. I like that. That's fun, but I don't know. It just seems so dark. It's a dark idea, and I don't want to even open myself up to it. So that's why I refuse to see the first one.
Well, it's good that some kids who are the exact opposite of you, they do just like seeing dark films, and that's all that they will see, and they aren't open to new ideas. That same group, that same segment, will see this movie, and they will get new ideas out of this movie, and that's what's so encouraging, is that there is always the possibility for change.
That's true.
And you have the power to make that change happen. Not everybody can wake up and get out of their beds on this cold Sunday morning and do what we do, but there are those same people that get up and listen to these same podcasts and listen to you and I and other people that I would like to say have different ideas about things. And that's good. I think that's all healthy. But I'm more worried about the apathy in the United States today. And technology isn't the reason for that apathy, but at the same time, it doesn't help it. So, but there are a lot of kids that are going to see this movie just because, Jennifer Lawrence is in it, or some teenage heartthrob, whoever that might be, is in the film. But then at the same time, I think they get some great ideas out of it.
Well, good.
So, that is encouraging. And going back to Japan, I think you're right in the fact that, school, home, and family definitely could be the reason why creativity is stifled. But then at the same time, the anime market is just as good as it ever was. And those come from highly creative minds in Japan.
Right.
The manga market's doing pretty good. I would not like to say that creativity is just dead in Japan. Heck, we just saw the PS4, and that launched pretty well.
Yeah, I don't think it's dead. I think they're looking for an excuse to dumb down the school systems in the States.
And that's my main problem with this article, is that it's like we're just looking for a reason to explain away explain away laziness in the United States today. I just think it's just laziness. And now we're just going to be dumbing down our system to what end? I mean, it's just,
Yeah. It's disheartening, and it makes me disappointed. If they end up dumbing down it even further, it makes me very disappointed in our nation.
Yeah. I think if anything, if you want to see more creative individuals, then you need to expose more outlets of creativity. And that's the one thing we are not doing here in the United States. And I would rather, if the national debate turns into whether or not testing should be a good way to benchmark today's students, I would rather shelve that debate And I would rather bring back art in the schools, art and music, and give kids options. You know, if they're not good test takers, well, maybe they're great creatives,
Yeah.
and maybe we can help that
I
out.
agree. Yeah.
You know, instead of just, because that's what's going to happen. You know, like I said earlier, I am not a good test taker, but there are other people that are great test takers, and you know, those are the people that become doctors and lawyers and you know, and biologists and people that write these great documents like we saw in the Declaration on Consciousness that I just read. You know, we need those people, but we also need a way for society to understand who those people are, you know, so we can help foster their growth with scholarships and stuff into college. And it's just a very weird time, you know, and to just see that or read that coming from Japan, you know, was disheartening, because, you know, the country has endured so much with the Fukushima disaster just recently. And, you know.
Yeah. And then also, and like you said, you wish there were more reporters about this. How much can you, you know, basically the stories are painted for what they want to show us, right? And people go out and try to get selective data to paint a certain picture. And that's not always the whole story. That's just what they want us to see, you know? So,
right. So, hey, guess what, Atlantic? You sold some ads. Great. Good for you. Speaking about stifling creativity, John Carmack was in the news today, or actually yesterday. And Jennifer, do you know who John Carmack is?
The Doom co-creator.
Doom co-creator. Very good. That is, he single-handedly, in my mind, created the first-person shooter genre. Whether or not that's a good or bad thing, I don't know. I was always into strategy games, so it wasn't that big of a deal for me. But I did play Doom with some of my friends and Quake, but I just could never get into it. Well, anyways, he is stepping down from the company he helped to co-create. And he is leaving ID Software.
Interesting.
And there's a lot of talk that, you know, he has a spot as CTO for Oculus Rift, and that's been his primary study as of late.
Oh, wow.
Or his primary focus has been with the goggles.
So he's leaving that then?
No, he's staying with Oculus Rift, but he's leaving ID.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And I'll start by reading his tweet. He tweeted to all of his followers, and he says, I quote, "I wanted to remain a technical advisor for ID, but it just didn't work out. Probably for the best, as the divided focus was challenging."
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. You can only, if you really, just like you and I were having a discussion recently about wanting people that want to do multiple projects, and it's you want to have your hands in a lot of different things, but if that's the case, can you really do them all well? You could do them all right, but you know, I think it's best to maybe just single in on one project and one thing and really put your heart and soul into it to make that awesome.
But I guess my problem is if Steve Jobs said the same thing, would that not be an issue? If Steve Jobs just stepped down from Apple without getting ousted like he did.
Yeah. It would.
And just say, well, I think it was probably for the best.
Yeah.
It was a pretty challenging career.
Yeah.
I think people would kind of stop and say, I don't think Apple is as great of company as I thought it was. You know, but this guy, I mean, I think I've heard rumors that, you know, John Carmack he's kind of egocentric. He has quite the ego. And I think it's interesting that we're not reading this from a press release. Instead, we're reading it from a tweet that he tweeted.
Yeah.
And I just think he's kind of stabbing ID Software and saying, you know, good luck.
You know, as you're reading this, I don't know if you happen to hear music go on in the background. Do you hear that?
A little, yes.
The stereo just came on in my living room on its own. So
There's no Bluetooth?
no, this isn't a Bluetooth. It just turned on, and
Okay,
I'm
well,
going to turn it off.
You're going to have to tell me what song it is.
It's it sounds like a Beatles song.
That's what it sounds like. How weird is that?
Is that strange? Yeah. I don't know, but I am going to.
I'm glad we can't really listen to it because we would be sued to oblivion if that was playing on the podcast.
I'm going to turn that off,
Okay.
and I'll be back in 5 seconds. So stand by.
All right. All right.
Very strange.
We'll probably edit it.
I have no idea how that happened.
Which song was it?
But I am back. So there we go.
Weird.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. ID.
Maybe that
John
was
Carmack summoned the radio to start playing.
very strange.
I don't know. I have a problem with the co-creator leaving his own company and then saying that the reason for him leaving it was because it was challenging.
Yeah, I mean it is.
I mean, we're not talking about someone that's like starting off. We're talking about someone that is basically the reason for the company's existence.
I mean his name, and and his name is big enough that I know his name, and I'm not a follower of him at all. So yeah, that is. Yeah, I mean it's very.
Just so you know, his last great title was in 2005 with Doom 3's release.
Okay.
And that was pretty much it. Most of his other titles were flops.
Okay.
They took a lot of money to make, but were too short, or they're, for some reason or another, they were not considered to be as good as Doom 3.
I guess he was just being. I mean, maybe he shouldn't have said that on his tweet, but I guess he was just being real. Just that maybe that's really legitimately the way he felt. But perhaps it wasn't best to tweet that out to everyone.
Yeah, because it puts ID software at a bad spot. Because I've heard some great things going on at ID software, and I hope this doesn't derail their progress.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some revolutionary stuff happening behind in the company, and I want to see it come out. I mean, there's rumors that ID software is working on gaming systems that take us past polygonal shapes on the screen, polygonal representations, and straight into I don't know if you know what ZBrush is, but voxel-based modeling. And basically that's what ZBrush does. It's kind of photorealistic 3D modeling without polygons. You have points in space instead of polygons. But anyways, so I was kind of discouraged because, to kind of go alongside the Japanese article, we need people in these spots. We need them to stay there. We need them to keep innovating. We don't need them to quit and just say it was challenging.
Yeah, I don't think he should have tweeted that out.
Yeah,
it may well have been. I think for me it'd be challenging to divide my vote, but I'm not a genius or anything. So, but it would be for me a little bit challenging too. But
well, and then again, he's CTO of Oculus Rift, but right now there's really not that much technology involved in the goggles. I mean, the goggles is like the VR technology is 30 years old. There's nothing really new with what they're doing. It's just the approach and how cheap the glasses are. That's revolutionary. I just don't really see him doing much with the company as it is. I just see him as being a figurehead. So, maybe that's a good thing. So
yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so that was disappointing. Just a bunch of, disappointing articles this morning. But And then we have a photojournalist who gets $1.2 million in damages for images cribbed from Twitter.
Wow.
And this is coming from Ars Technica.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Good for him.
I read the article and I was just I was given the fist pump.
That is great. Yeah.
I hate it when people steal images and post them on Twitter as if they are their own.
Yeah, that's not cool.
I had someone from Russia do that with some of my artwork. He actually used it on his website as a background image.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
How did you find out? Did you?
Analytics.
No kidding.
He literally linked his background image to my asset on my own server.
Oh my God.
So that's how I found out.
What did you do?
There's not much you can do. If they're not in the United States, you can't really do anything. Not all of us have black helicopters.
That's
But
Is
yeah,
that something? Jeez.
yeah. So this Morel guy, he sees his great photos, and here's the thing that gets me. Okay, so Associated Press, they can't be everywhere, but a lot of these journalist agencies, Associated Press and others, they're taking the easy way out, and instead of hiring great photographers, they're just stealing the photographers that are already embedded, the freelancers. They're just stealing their work.
Yeah, that's bad.
And so, here we have Daniel Morel, who had to hire a lawyer, and he actually had to give out copyright notices, to the Associated Press, which is not an easy thing to do to begin with. And then the Associated Press turned around and blamed it on Twitter. And they said that everything was on Twitter was free, so they're covered. And Twitter says, no. And I like how Ars Technica points out the fact that, no, this is not the case. Twitter has taken a, quote, you own your own content approach to social media. So I love the stance from Ars Technica. They're such a great agency to cover tech because, this is definitely a win for the artists. In the day and age where what is it? We were talking about Flickr earlier, how people just steal images and post them on the black market. But then there are other social media outlets which actually do tell you, I think Dropbox, or maybe they revised their EULA since, but Dropbox was saying that anything posted in their cloud platform could be distributed for marketing purposes.
I didn't know that.
So
I wonder if they have changed that because I back up a lot of my photos to Dropbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
From my
looking
phone.
it up right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of a big deal.
But so at 1.2 million for 8 photos. That is awesome.
Well, that just tells you, because everybody kind of gets on board with what Associated Press is covering. So you'll see content from Associated Press in your newspapers. You'll see it in magazines, on websites, and that's what the problem was that the photojournalist was not getting a single penny, and it was spreading. This photo, or these photos, were spreading like wildfire. So but yeah, one of the rare instances where the legal system does protect the artists.
Yeah,
and hopefully it makes people second guess what they take from social media.
Yeah, hopefully it maybe helps have them second guess it or put a stop to it. I don't think it will always stop, but it will make people more aware of what could happen if they use some images that don't belong to them or they didn't get the rights to.
Well, I always like posting my pencils on Twitter. It's very difficult to copy that. But when it comes to like final pieces or, polished production worthy material, that's something where, that's going on my website. It's very easy for people to take that to interviews and say that they drew that. So.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So good news coming from the legal front on
Yeah,
that.
that is
And,
good.
and then I see that you have some news articles here.
I do. I have a couple. The first one I have, this one comes from CNET. It is about Nokia. Nokia workers vow to continue strike over the Microsoft deal. So, striking employees in China say they were forced to sign new and weaker contracts because of the Microsoft purchase, and they are not happy about it. So,
Wow.
hundreds of Nokia workers went on strike on Tuesday because of the fact they were forced to sign into this. And already 59 have lost their jobs after failing to report to work. And it says that no action has threatened to extend the strike. Action has been threatened to extend the strike even further. So that's the one thing, I guess, they really don't have that much say in it except really to go on strike if, the company has been Microsoft purchased and now they have to deal with lesser salaries and evidently working situations that they don't really feel confident about or good about. So I
It's
guess,
horrible.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm surprised they were able to strike. I didn't think you could even strike in China. Um, it's interesting that that we're seeing the fallout of the Microsoft Nokia merger around the holidays. It's not good for Microsoft, especially when
No,
you just released your prized Xbox One console,
no, not
and
at
then
all.
hey, oh, by the way, Nokia workers, they're
Yeah.
still on strike.
And it's interesting. It says here workers in China, and I apologize if you hear my dog barking. I don't know what's into him today. I
He wants to join in.
I'll
I
tell
think
you
he has
what. I
something
think
to
he has
say about
something. He's
this.
passionate about
Yes.
this deal. He wants to stand up for these guys. Yeah, I agree, Leo. Yeah. Okay, so
Right on.
it says workers in China don't necessarily trust their employees, according to Reuters, which feeds fears that labor conditions will get worse after corporate takeovers. And
Okay.
on Tuesday, Nokia shareholders voted to approve the deal that will give Microsoft custody of the Finnish company's devices and services business. So yeah. So on the topic of Microsoft, we have let's talk a little bit about the Xbox One, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay. So the Xbox One recently came out was it Thursday?
I believe so.
Yeah. And of course, the PS4 came out the week before.
Right.
So, according to a news analysis done by, this is actually on eetimes.com,
Okay.
it says that the Xbox One versus PS4, that the Microsoft is more profitable per console. And so the neat thing about this is it actually has an estimated cost comparison between the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, and it goes through what the cost of the hard drive would be, the Blu-ray, the connectivity, the memory, processors, this and that. So all the stuff all the pieces that go in to make it. And the Sony PlayStation total cost for the console, actually total cost for the entire system, would be $357, and the Microsoft's would be $388. And of course, PlayStation is selling for $399.99, and the Xbox One is $499.99. So Xbox's profit is $112 versus the PlayStation is $43.
Now I know that the play, and this is no news to our current listening audience, but I am a big fan of the PlayStation 4. Part of which is because of the hardware involved. It's just revolutionary. I mean, custom GPU. I was just looking Friday. Actually, I was looking at the readout of the Vita hardware spec, and the Vita is the portable unit. And at the time, still the Vita specs are still the best in the market, and this is a $200 device, and it's probably the best $200 display in the market.
Nice.
And they're taking that same approach to the PS4. I mean, with Sony, it's really weird because normally the first hardware device released, the first generation, is normally the best. And with the PS4, with the PS3, it unfortunately was the most expensive. I mean, I guess with the PS4, we can say they finally learned their lesson because they figured out how to cram in great parts, just like they did with the PS3, but at a cheaper cost point. And I don't know how they did it. Maybe it goes into supply chains and alliances, and but I don't know. If you're Xbox One, do you really want to play it safe? Because I think that's kind of what I'm feeling from Microsoft is they totally played it safe with their new console, and now they're kind of trying to capitalize on that at the same time.
You know what is interesting between these two consoles, and doing a survey. Not really a survey. I guess just I sent a couple
comparison.
I did a couple of posts on Google Plus and Facebook and Twitter, just kind of to see who was getting what and what, and why.
Oh, right.
And the majority of people, especially on Google Plus, were doing PlayStation 4. And basically everyone techie that I knew that was really techie was doing PlayStation 4, and then just a couple were doing Xbox One. And so then I thought, well, the people that I interact with online, they're all pretty much tech-savvy individuals. So I wonder when we take this to the mainstream population, the people that aren't reading these articles, that aren't seeing the differences between the two, if the Xbox One is still going to be thriving.
Okay, so that's the basic. What argument is that? I guess. What is it? The Nokia's latest smartphone, was that the Lumia? Lumia, yeah. It has like a 40 megapixel camera. Crazy, insane. The camera is by far the best camera on the market, especially on a cell phone. And the people that are buying the phone are photogenic people. I mean, they're photographers and they love the camera, and so they buy the phone. But we know how big that marketplace is. It's pretty small. And and the phone, although it's an okay phone, has a great camera, is not selling that well. Great commercials.
Oh, the commercials are wonderful. Yeah. The
Very
marketing team was genius with that.
I was like, yeah, wishful thinking. But anyways, having said that, you do raise a good point. Will Sony's tech savvy following? Because I think you hit the nail around the head. I mean, there are tech savvy people that are buying the PS4. Will that be enough for Sony to gain market share? Because I think that's what this is about, right?
Yeah, and I think they will definitely they will be huge. Of course, they're huge. They're people get the PlayStation, But I'm just thinking. I guess my thought is, when I looked online, it was a landslide. Slide. Yeah, it was a landslide, where
rocks crumbling.
Where about
85%
of the people that responded were going with the PlayStation, and then the rest were Xbox. And I thought, wow, well, if that was relative to the mainstream public, that would mean that the Xbox would really only have 15% of the people out there, and 85% are going to buy the PlayStation. And then I thought, well, you know what? The mainstream public aren't techies. So is it going to level out where it's really going to be kind of 50-50? That's kind of what I'm thinking.
My guess is yes. And I don't know if you noticed on the Tech Anarchy Twitter feed, but when PS4 came out, I kind of got into it with some other guy about Xbox One. Mm-hmm. His main argument is, I believe the main argument of Microsoft is that Microsoft Xbox One it has exclusive content, whereas PS4 does not. Mm. And that's so on Sony's PS4 side, you have great hardware, great specs, but the titles are pretty much there for Microsoft. But for Microsoft, you have exclusive titles and soon to be exclusive content, with the Steven Spielberg deal and all that stuff, the Halo series. But here's the thing. I mean, uh, Sony also has a handheld device, and they have kind of a game plan for smaller and smaller devices. And I think we're going to see. I to be honest, I think Sony is shifting their sights to Apple, and I think Microsoft is still trying to gain relevancy, or trying to become more relevant. And I think that's the industry. I really don't think Sony cares about Microsoft anymore. Even though we compare the two, I really think just based on some of the moves Sony has been making lately, I think they're really trying to go for Apple. And all we're missing is that one phone. I mean, I was just talking to one of my friends yesterday morning, and he's been looking for the Sony Xperia phone, but unfortunately AT&T doesn't offer it.
One more question I have in regards to, I'm going to go back to comparing these two again. So with the Xbox One, you need a gold subscription, really, if you want to interact online.
This is the crazy part.
And the PlayStation 4, does that require any type of subscription?
Yes. So here's the thing. So you need a PSN account basically to even start your PS4. And I'm glad you're asking me this because the PS4 has been out a week and obviously there has been some issues. That's a nice way of putting it. So when you get the PS4, you're greeted with a link or a prompt telling you to update to, I believe, 1.5. And at the time we tried updating our PS4, we couldn't. We actually had to do it the manual way. We had to go to some website and download the actual link, or download the file and then put it on a thumb drive and update it.
Jeez.
Yeah. And so the online method of so if you don't have a computer, I really feel sorry for you because you probably can't update your PS4 right now. So that was rough. But on top of that, you need a PSN account in order to get that download. So if the PSN network or if their PSN servers are bogged down, you can't even get the download. So, but you do need a PSN account, and you need a PSN account to log into the store. And you basically need a PSN account to do anything, to make updates, to do anything online, basically.
And is the PSN account free, or is that like a $99?
Yeah.
Or?
So that's the free.
Okay.
That's the free part. Okay, so
nice.
PSN account is free. However, there are there's two tiers. There's the free, the PSN account, and then there's also and I'm looking it up right now. Let's see, 1 second. There's a PlayStation. It's not live, but it's not gold. What's it called? I always forget what it's called.
I don't know.
Oh, PSN Plus.
Okay,
so if you have a PSN Plus account, then you have access to automatic downloads.
Oh,
nice. What's weird is that, if you're in the Mac or PC space like you and I are, you're kind of used to automatic updates, I mean, you get prompted, hey, your computer just updated.
Yep.
Well, if you have a PS4 and you don't have this Plus account, then you have to go to the link and manually click download.
I see.
Yeah, and then you cannot play games online, which is a big. That's a big.
Yeah, that's a big part.
Yeah. A lot of gamers are mad about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Xbox on the other hand, you pretty much need a gold account to download the apps like Netflix and Redbox and Hulu and all that stuff.
You need a gold account for all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's only like for a year, or I think they do it for like 3 months, or then you can have it for a year. And I don't even know if my Xbox Gold is still live from my 360. Because it's probably expired now. Now I think about it.
So I wonder, can you still do Netflix even though your account is expired?
I'll have to power it on and see.
When was the last time?
It's been about 3 months. So it's been a while. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So it's interesting, the two they're different consoles. I mean, it's just I don't do online. I don't really have time for it. So, but I do gaming, but it's mostly the single player gaming that I love to play. So, to me, it's not that big of an issue. But I already have a live account, just because, or sorry, Plus account, PSN Plus account, just so I can get free content on the Vita. If you buy a Vita along with the Plus account, you get like 20 games for free. It's crazy.
Oh, that's nice.
And then you get access to all the independent games that are out there in the marketplace. And they actually do give you great deals as a Plus member. I mean, I'd love to see the website where people kind of talk about the cost savings of having a Plus account, because I've probably made back all the money that I've spent on my Plus account just in the money I've saved on these titles.
Yeah, that would be an interesting thing to kind of do research on, and or if there is a website or a post that's kind of shows the value.
Point taken.
Yeah.
I'll get on that.
You do that now. I expected by Wednesday, end of
that's
day.
Right. That's my hope. But hey, speaking of which, I am playing a great game on Vita right now. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, PlayStation Vita is on fire. It has so many cool titles on it with the new Batman series, but I just am. It's hard to find a word because it's not like a game that I normally play. But are you familiar with Little Big Planet? I think it's Little Big Planet.
It sounds familiar. I think so.
Okay, well, you're basically this little.
Is that when you build your own world? Is that what
you kind of build your own world. You're this little sock puppet guy, and you're walking around, and you're just solving puzzles and just doing stuff. Just interacting. I mean, the whole title series is about interacting with your environment and all the different things that you can do. So, anyways, the same development crew has made a game for Vita, PlayStation Vita, called Tearaway. And basically, the whole concept of Tearaway is that you are this kind of paper mache character, and you're interacting in a world that's all like paper. And so you're interacting with like origami, or I said paper mache. Actually, it's origami. I just interacted with the king squirrel, and king squirrel is like this origami squirrel, and they have all the all these unique
cute
sound effects, their own communication. It's all subtitled and stuff, and it's weird chipmunk squeaks, and and they can get feisty with you, and and then the whole PlayStation Vita system is about touch, and so the back of the Vita is touch sensitive. Everywhere you touch on the back of the Vita is touch sensitive.
Oh,
so
smart.
in the Tearaway universe, I can tap the back of my Vita, and next thing I know, I see a 3D graphical depiction of my finger coming through in the universe.
Aww.
Exactly where I'm touching on the back of the device.
Very cool.
So there I'm looking at my finger, and then you can touch items in the universe and kind of drag them around to solve puzzles. And you're interacting with drums, timpanis to be exact, and so you're playing the timpanis just to get your character to jump higher, and it's so engaging. For a second there, I know that I was not in this world, but I definitely felt like I could interact with it. You know, and in my mind, that's, I know we spoke to this last time, but that's kind of what I envision as this huge convergence of technology, music. Oh, but the music is just awesome in this game too. It's just such a fun
What
artistic title to play.
what was the name of it one more time?
It's called Tearaway, and
Tearaway.
I linked it in the Google Plus page
Okay.
for everybody to download. But yeah, just an absolutely awesome title to play. It's a good form of expression, and it's nice to know that game studios are into creating such titles. You know, that not every title out there has to be, you know, shoot 'em up.
Yeah, that's just great.
Yeah,
I'm just kind of over all that shooting.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
And I wish more people interact with this title, and I know that they probably won't. But you know, the title's a great wholesome game for anybody in the family to play. So, you know, we had our Black Friday coverage recently, but I highly suggest this game on anybody's list if they have a Vita system as a gift or something.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at it now. I'm pulling up the link that you posted on Google Plus to take a look at it.
Oh, I
And
have a better link for you, because in the game there's also a social element where you have to take your own selfie. And
oh,
so I
neat.
actually have my own selfie on one of my Twitter accounts that I can show you from the game. And let's see,
Tear away.
I'll send it to you.
So did this just come out?
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah.
It came out last week.
Yeah, because I see a write-up, and the write-up was on the 22nd, which is Friday. So,
Yep.
yeah, nice.
Lot of people are hopefully a lot of people are downloading it, but those that are highly enjoying it, so, which is always a good thing. But yeah, I just sent you my selfie.
Okay, let's see. I'm opening up your selfie. Let's see. Aw. What a cute character. I like this. That's great.
Yeah, so it's a fun little game.
Yeah, very, very cool. I like it. I love the graphics on it. Nice.
Yeah. So, and this is coming from Sony. Again, it's an exclusive title on Vita right now. I believe it's there's a version coming to Wii U, I think. I'm not sure. I'll have to find out about the details on that. But
What is the price point for this? I didn't see it.
well, I downloaded it. I downloaded the title in the PSN store.
Right.
So the price point was $35.
Okay.
And that was a special. Again, I was talking about the advantages of being a Plus member. Not only did I get a discount on the title, but I also got special features. Like I got the soundtrack to go with the game, which I'm a big fan of musical score, and so that was fun. And along with like stuff that I probably won't interact with, like screensavers and stuff. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Very good. If I had one, I definitely would play this. It looks like a lot of fun. I love the graphics on it. Very nice.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I was just engaged in it for like 4 hours Friday night and another 2 hours Saturday morning.
Oh
And
my.
I turned to my wife. I was like, I should not be into this game, but I just cannot put it down.
Did she try it?
No, she hasn't tried it. I've kind of nudged her towards gaming, but she just, yeah. We are high. I say past tense because it really is past tense. But we were highly competitive in the Mario Kart arena, and so competitive that, I mean, we would play for hours, and then finally, it just she just had it. I used way too many missiles or way too many turtle shells, so that was it. She put her foot down. That was it.
Wow. Very good.
But yeah, so.
Well, I have one more story.
Okay.
One more news article. And this one goes back to Our wonderful topic, Apple versus Samsung.
Oh,
so, yeah. So Apple on Friday was awarded $290 million in the patent trial, in one of the many, many patent trials that they have. And I say, yay, Apple. Good for them. and so
what's the score right now?
I don't even know what the overall score is, but Samsung, I know, has paid a ton to Apple. Let me see. I thought it said here. Well, in regards to this case, Samsung must pay over $290 million in additional damages for patent infringement. Apple had requested $380 million in damages, while Samsung said it should only pay $52 million for the use of Apple in 13 older products. In 2012, the jury decided that most of Samsung's smartphones in the case infringed 3 design patents, and ruled for Apple on that. And as a result, Apple has been awarded, or was awarded before, more than $1 billion for infringed patents actually I think this includes in 26 products. So over $1 billion from Samsung altogether. But that's what they get. Bad Samsung, bad.
Everybody, all good art is kind of a derivative from its predecessor. There's always some type of copying going on. What inspires you on a day-to-day basis? And imagine if, what inspires others, there was a patent on that, and then you go on to make this great product, but you're kind of stealing the very essence of creativity from this other individual.
Yeah.
We don't really see those types of lawsuits happening. But in this space, it's all about the physical, what inspires other hardware. And I guess in this industry, you can all, I guess that this is a generalization, but you can also say that all hardware is kind of a close cousin to each other. Like a screen is a screen. What is it made out of? How strong it is.
That's true.
But here we see Samsung constantly losing. So what does that say? I think the article alludes to the fact that this is now Samsung is now at a projected $929 million in the hole because of all these legal suits. So I don't know what the score is, but if I was a betting man, I'd say Samsung is losing.
Yeah, Samsung is losing. And the thing of it is that Samsung has been, they really have a lot of the market share right now. I don't know exactly what the statistics are. And I really believe that's all because of their marketing. And I'm kind of disappointed in the general public for just blindly going with Samsung just because they are brainwashed by the ads. And I would like for them to think for themselves and really look at specs, feel the product, look and see what it feels like in your hand, and don't just go on just what the ads do. Go by what the device can actually do for you. And people don't do that. They just, Samsung. And so you know what? I say good. I'm glad that Samsung has to pay this because I'm just I'm upset with Samsung at the moment.
So, I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that, actually. But you brought that up in the last episode. Yeah. So, I don't know what they did to you, but
nothing to me personally. I think just I don't like the monster that they've become. I don't like the fact that they are trying to control everything that they're trying to control. They want to have all their Samsung apps, and they put all this bloatware on their phones. I just don't like the direction that they're going in. I do like their TVs. I don't like their devices. They're plasticky. They're not very attractive, and I don't like the fact that the general public is just Samsung.
Yeah,
and it's kind of gross, It's just
I believe next year we get to look forward to a brand new Samsung operating system too. They're kind of going away from Android. I think they're spinning off a version of Android, but yeah, they're going to have their own browser and everything. So
yuck.
I mean, it's just going to be messy. But
It's
pretty much everybody's doing that. But I guess here's kind of my question for you, Jennifer, is what happens when we see a 5-inch phone from Apple next year?
Will they say that they're stealing off of Samsung?
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I think I kind of have the thought that when an idea is born, that other people in the universe, or not universe, but on Earth, have the same idea. I think that once you put the idea out there, other people, it's born, and other people will have it around the same time. And it was whoever does something with it is the first one there that and has patents filed that actually kind of owns that then. Mm-hmm. But so I don't know. I mean, who was the first to develop a 5-inch screen? Was it Sam? I guess it was Samsung, wasn't it? It was.
I just know they were one of the
with
first.
The note. Mm-hmm, with the note. They could come back and say some, but I think the difference would be Apple's. I don't think Samsung has anything like, oh, you cannot develop a 5-inch screen, because HTC just came out with the One Max, which is like a 5-inch screen, and there's some other devices out there that'll have large screens. So I don't think Samsung can really claim anything on that, and I think the Apple device would look completely different and operate completely different than Samsung's. And if anything, with iOS 7, yeah, it does have some of the features that Android has, but big deal. It's not Google's open, right? So
right.
It's a different thing. They're not stealing from Samsung necessarily.
So according to the EE Times that you took this article from, apparently Samsung infringed on 3 design patents. Mm-hmm. One is the actual industrial design of the iPhone and the app screen. So here we are saying maybe it's the app screen itself, like the physical makeup of the app screen. Maybe
it's how the apps are arranged, but that's part of Android, though. I mean, so does Samsung infringe upon that? It could
on
be
the look and feel of the software. You're right.
Yeah, it could be that with. Okay.
I remember this case. This is where the icons looked exactly similar.
The gallery, looks like the photos icon.
This is when they just it was blatant. They just ripped it off.
They just did a different. Yeah, it was a blatant ripoff. It was
funny because this thing's like 5 years old. I mean, I grew up with this case.
Yeah. The icons looked very, very similar. The same images were in the icons. That's what it was. They might have called it something different, but it was the same images.
At the time, that was the version of Samsung where they were just kind of under the mantra, if you can't beat them, copy them.
Yeah. I think that might have been when it came out, probably with the Galaxy S2 at that point.
Wow.
There was another thing that they had stopped. I don't know if it's back or not, but it was the Omni search. You know how we can search within Spotlight on our iPhone?
Right.
Well, they blocked that on Samsung. Samsung pulled that back, and they said they had some reason. They didn't say it was because of Apple, but they pulled it back so you couldn't search from the bar anymore. Or not search, search for apps on the bar. That's what I meant. Search for apps on the bar. And so.
Yeah, so apparently Apple has a unified search patent, according to Android Police. And that was a fight that Samsung wasn't willing to have.
Yeah, that's how they pulled it, which drove me insane because it's on other Android devices. So I would always install an app by Google called Gesture Search, and which was wonderful because I use it. This is my number one app that I always install, and I have it right on my screen. I just tap it, and let's say if I want Gmail, I'll just scribble the letter G, and then Gmail pops up, or Google Plus or whatever I select with the letter G. But it works really well. Google's done a great job with it. So that's what I used, and I found that app as a result of Samsung removing that feature, that search feature. So you can't search for your apps, which drove me nuts.
So you're saying that some Android phones still have the universal search,
yeah,
but then the Samsung phones don't?
The Samsung phones don't. Now, I'm not, I'll have to get I do have a Samsung Note 3, in the other room, and I should test it and see. But I know on the Galaxy S3 they pulled that feature, and don't think I saw it on the Galaxy S4 either. I'm not sure. I'll have to check on my Note 3 and see if they brought it back or not. But I know they removed it as just directly because of this, because they didn't want to infringe anymore upon Apple.
Oh, okay. So I believe I found the answer to your query is that the patent, and again, this is reading Android Police, the patent resulted in a ban of, or the universal search issue with Samsung. The patent resulted in the ban of the Galaxy Nexus in the United States.
I remember that too, yeah.
Okay, then Google claimed it would be sending out an update which addresses the issue right before the Ninth Circuit of Appeals temporarily lifted the ban, allowing sales to resume. So unfortunately, Samsung was stuck in the crosshairs of this. But that's why it's probably still on Google devices, because the Ninth Circuit said it was okay. They lifted the ban.
Yeah, because it's still on Google, and it's on my Moto X. And
and Google
HTC.
hasn't yet issued the software update, so Google never did. They probably still have the update waiting in the hopper.
Yeah, if they were to ever remove that, I would go insane. That's one of my favorite features of phones, is because I don't like looking through the icons on my phone. I just want to find, search for what I'm looking for,
Yeah, what's wrong in that?
Yeah, exactly.
I hate that they did away with Spotlight in apps. When you're in an app, you can't launch Spotlight in iOS 7. Drives me crazy.
Yeah.
So now, I have to double click the button all the time.
Yeah. Spotlight is the best invention ever. They should have enabled that, but,
I'm so glad they didn't trick it up like they did in iOS 7 when they released Mavericks. Mavericks is actually more powerful with the tagging, and oh my goodness, I tag like crazy everywhere. I tag. I know some people just don't like to go through their files and tag, but once stuff is tagged, it's so much easier to find stuff.
Yeah, it's like it's like cleaning your file cabinet,
Oh yeah, definitely. And especially, when your file cabinet is like years old, you kind of want to know your new stuff, and
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's, I don't know, if I were Samsung, I just, I got so much money. It's probably a who cares thing. 953 million. What's that?
Yeah, I'm sure they're fine.
Yeah. But then at the same time, it is bad for their PR, I think. And, just with the Nexus 4, I believe, or the Note 4 launch, which has pretty much been a disaster, it just can't be good for the company.
You mean the Nexus 5?
I'm sorry. No. The
Note 3.
Note 3.
Okay.
Note 4. I thought it was 4.
No, 3.
See, now I'm lost.
Who can
how many
keep up?
notes
They
are
come
there?
out with a phone every 2 minutes. This is the third generation of the Note.
Galaxy S4. That's what I was
You're talking about the
trying
Galaxy S4. Okay.
Yes. See, you didn't even know. They got so many numbers and stuff. All I know is that I use one note-taking app, or two, Evernote and Notes. And that's the only note that I know. But anyways. So yeah, I'm kind of joining you on your bandwagon of Samsung distaste.
Well, good. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, all right. Where else are we going?
Well, we can go into He Says, She Says.
Yeah, so I had this idea for several new segments of Tech Anarchy, and for the listeners, I hope you're fine with kind of the changing of formats, because kind of trying new things. This is December; it's a happy time, and I decided to use this happy time to try to see, how can we keep this going through the next year and keep things fun and interesting and engaging. And so I'm trying to come up with several segments for the new year. One of them is He Says, She Says, and that's basically where I will introduce a problem, or a problem can be a wide variety of things. It could just be not necessarily a problem. I said problem. That's probably not the best word for it. I will introduce something in tech, and Jennifer, you and I have to weigh in on it.
Okay.
But normally, the items in tech that we're going to be covering in this segment kind of go a little more in depth than in the news segment that we do. In that the ramifications of what this could mean in 5-10 years from now are great. So hopefully we can use this as like I would like to kind of go back on this episode 5 years from now when I'm old and gray and say, you know what? Yeah, we kind of had some good opinions about this, and look what happened. We said it. It's right there in this podcast. Go look it up in web archives.
I'm still laughing at the fact that you said you'll be old and gray in 5 years.
It'll happen.
I doubt
Just
that.
waiting for it to happen. I got some gray hairs, but I'm not going to tell you where. And mostly in my chin. But so for the first he says she says, this was inspired by my wife. She sends me this random link, and I told her to tell Santa what she wants. Mm-hmm. And she sends me this link to National Geographic's Gene 2.0 project. It's their Genographic project participation DNA Ancestry kit. Okay. Mm-hmm. So what this is basically National Geographic Explorer in Residence Dr. Spencer Wells and team designed this Gene 2.0 kit, and they based it off, quote, what they say new technologies and insights that emerged since the launch of the Genographic project in 2005. But basically it's taking cotton swabs to your cheek and inside cheek, like forensic experts do, mm-hmm. and doing a DNA analysis. However, they're kind of using the results to tell you what your ancestry is. And this includes an exclusive custom-built genotyping chip, which they chip. I think that's a typo. But anyways, the test yields 150,000 DNA markers, which have been specifically selected to provide unprecedented ancestry-related information. So my question to you, Jennifer, is this a test that you would be willing to take? Because I know what I have to say about this.
Okay, first, if this is legit, yeah, I would be willing to take it. However, I would not be willing to pay the price of what they have on here. I believe the price point... Oh, I just navigated away. I believe the price point is like $160 or something like that.
It's on sale.
On sale for $160. It retails for $199.95. It's on sale for $159.95 right now. And I'd like to know more how this works. How I want to know more of the science behind it before actually just believing whatever they say. I would take it, and I would do it, but I'd read the results with a grain of salt. I wouldn't hold it and believe it's all true. I just have a hard time really believing that this, and I'm very accepting of a lot of things and very open, but I just need to know more about how. How do they know? How does the science work? How can they trace it back? Where are they getting this from? I need to know more, And I know
I will tell you more.
Okay.
So the point of this segment is that you should have enough information provided to formulate an opinion. Mm-hmm. So let me give you some background. And I'm reading straight from National Geographic's website. So it's not like they're secretive about this.
Yeah. I mean, okay, go ahead. I was going to say I read the website too, but I just, scientifically, I need to know more. You know what I mean?
Okay, so this is done via a simple and painless cheek swab, in which, you send your sample off to a lab, and then they take these genetic markers that is ingrained in your mitochondrial DNA, which is passed down from generation to generation, and that's what determines what they call the maternal deep ancestry.
How do they know that? How do they know how many generations back this DNA actually goes? How are they able to test DNA from thousands of years ago? I mean, that's what I'm like, I just...
So okay. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I want to know more scientifically. Okay, so let me just say, if this is legit, oh yeah, I would love to do this and know where my ancestry comes from. And I'd be all over it, and I'd be like, yeah, that's really cool. It could maybe, it would be kind of neat to know where we come from, and what kind of part of the world we're from, and
okay, so just yesterday, yeah, what is today? Today is the 24th. Okay, so it was 2 days ago. And I'm reading from planetsave.com, in which you're saying that recent DNA analysis of the Denisova hominis genome has revealed the presence of unusual genetic sequences not found in Neanderthal or any other known early hominin species, indicating the possible existence of a new unknown ancestor in the human family tree.
Yeah.
And I don't think the point of the test is to say that you come definitively from this. I think the result is quite inconclusive, but at the same time, it is kind of cool to know that, I came from the European land bridge.
Yeah, it would be cool to see what kind of results come back, and I think it'd be important just to take it, like I said, with a grain of salt and not take it too seriously, and just take it for what it is. I mean, it's all uncertainties, but it could be entertaining nonetheless.
Well, the growing consensus is that Neanderthals kind of intermixed with Homo sapiens, and that they never just suddenly disappeared, that they just merged into what we are today, and that actually everybody has a piece of Neanderthal in them. And this test kind of helps to prove how much Neanderthal you really are, which I thought was cool. But then, at the same time, it doesn't really go further back in time. It doesn't really. I don't, unless you think that aliens seeded this planet 500,000 years, or before 500,000, or after 500,000 years ago. I don't see how you would have a problem with this test.
Yeah.
Unless you think it was like a more recent event.
I don't have a problem with the test. I just want to know how they know what DNA, like how it links back. I'd like to see the scientific reasons and description as to how,
Right.
Yeah, I just need to, just like when my parents were like, when I was a kid, oh, well, believe this because that's the way it is. I had to question everything, and I want to draw my own conclusions. And so, and assuming that their research is correct, then that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I can understand that. So the reason why this is also a he says, she says kind of deal is because we're probably going to be seeing more of these tests, not just to find your genetic ancestry, but to also find whether or not you have cancer. It's going to be these. I
saw that too, and I remember hearing about stuff like that, and I really just don't really believe in it. I mean, I don't know. It's just something in my gut just kind of tells me, like, okay, because the DNA says that I'm prone to cancer, I might get cancer. Well, everyone's like prone to cancer because of the world we live in with the stupid chemicals and our poisoned food and the drugs that they force us when we're children, and the water and everything that we have is tainted by our government because they want us to be sick, in my opinion, because of the big pharma industry and all the money that they make. It's just a sick situation. And so, yeah, I mean, they want people to get cancer. It's just and the whole breast cancer thing, the associate, there's cures already. It's just money making businesses it's a scam. All of it is a scam because they want to make money. And, when wonderful cures already exist, but they're suppressed by this nation, and it's disgusting. Anyway, I don't really believe that DNA is going to tell me that I'm going to get cancer. I think that we're in control and we can change the way we're going to be, and we can change our health, and we're in complete control of that if we eat well, eat holistically, take care of ourselves, and believe it, and don't expose ourselves to these conditions. And I don't know. I just don't believe a test will tell me that. I think I'm in control of my body, and I'll get what I'm supposed to get and get what I'm not supposed to get. And if I get something, that I can actually reverse it on my own.
Well, that was well said.
Sorry about that. See, now people are going to think I'm a fruitcake, but that's, I believe what I believe. So,
well,
yeah.
so there were holistic approaches to there have always been holistic approaches to cancer treatment. Some say do this, do that. Obviously, we can conclude that exercise is great for the mind. So definitively great for the mind. So what's that going to hurt? But now scientists are coming out to say that actually warmer climates helped reduce some of the growth of severe cancer or bad cancers. And that kind of goes into what other people have been saying. I say other people because I don't know what group they is. I want to say holistic, but it's not necessarily a holistic concept. But some people, like when they had cancer, they physically moved to a warmer climate. Like the tropics. Yeah, to help with it. And they swore up and down that it helped with it. But at the time, science wasn't quite there to back it up.
No, science. I love science, but the problem is if it's not money making, especially within the United States, then they'll suppress these scientific breakthroughs, and it's just horrible. Then there's been a lot of them that actually work, and I know that if I ever get cancer, that I'll be fine, that I'll be able to reverse it based upon my research.
Well, and I had my own scare a few years back, and it's like you feel pretty helpless. You really don't know where things are going to be, and you just know that there's no cure. And that's the one thing I focused on for 2 weeks before I knew what the outcome was, that there is no cure, that I'm absolutely powerless. And that's probably the one moment in time where you feel where you feel so insignificant in the universe. Everything
is reversible. You got your body in that condition, but it is completely reversible.
That's correct.
And I, if you're ever, I have a lot of solid research and information to back it up. So,
well, according to The Economist, they've discovered that scientists, being that mice were widely used to help determine which new cancer therapies stand a good chance of working in human patients. Well, they're finding out that their studies were not perfect, and all too often what works in a rodent produces little or no benefits in people, which has led researchers to explore the ways in which mice and men are dissimilar in order to pick apart why the responses are so different. But that's what kind of led to this this cancer therapy, that warmer climates are okay, because they actually found the scientists are kind of questioning how they're testing, and some of the methods that it's actually leading to, I've known people, very smart people, that continuously try to solve the same problem the same way over and over again. They never tried changing their approach. and they always are frustrated when they get the same result.
Yeah, yeah. They need to change. They need to change things up.
Yeah.
Yeah, or open their minds.
Open their minds, right? I
Think outside
swear,
the box.
I swear up and down, unless I'm real sick, like I can't get up sick. I very, I don't like taking Advil. I don't really like taking medicine of any type.
Good, yeah.
Unless I really need it. But I'm always under the impression, maybe this is me just being naive, but I know my body better than some doctor who thinks he knows that I don't know.
Yeah, I agree entirely. And you don't need to go to the doctor for everything. The last time I was at the doctor was only because I was in a car wreck and I, sliced my hand and, or my hand was sliced by the windshield. Anyway, so that was like the last time it's fine. I just have scars, but that was the last time I was at the doctor, and I refused all the stuff that they were trying to do. And, it's a business, and the stuff that they give you covers the symptoms, and it's the only thing, I think that's like if it's an emergency where you're cut or something, you need stitches, something like that. But if it's an illness, not unless if it's a holistic doctor. The other doctors really, in my opinion, I don't know. I'm not a believer. I'm not a believer in medicine here in the States. I'm not. And it doesn't, I really believe that if you take care of your body, if you eat holistic fruit, organic fruits and vegetables, you don't eat meat, and you just really watch what you do and just take care of yourself and treat your body with respect, that you're not going to get sick. And if you do, you can figure out what it was. Typically it's stress that's going to cause your illness, and because that lowers your immunity, and you want to, raise the alkalinity of your body, raise the pH, and get yourself on the right healthy track, and you can actually reverse everything. And it's not just eating just fruits and vegetables. There's other ways to do it as well that assist in that. But it all comes down to what you consume. And
now you're making me worried about those cheese fries I had last night.
And drugs, pharmaceutical drugs are the worst. And that, they cause more and more disruption inside your body. And I haven't taken a pill in forever. I can't remember the last time I took a drug. And
so Jean, submitting a cheek swab, into a lab to understand your true genetic lineage is one thing, but then I could see a world where you're easily submitting that same swab to a lab to find risk of cancer, and then there's going to be a whole slew of preventative drugs, gene altering drugs to help reduce those markers.
That's what they want to do. They want to, because they're filthy, greedy people that don't deserve to be living on the planet.
Well, so that kind of leads us to another segment in which I called Weird But True. And I'm segueing to this segment because, some people do live on this planet to be elderly and very healthy, and they did everything right.
Good.
But at the same time, they age, and sometimes then it makes, although they're healthy, at some point, they have a stroke, or a heart attack or something natural, their body just naturally breaks down, just can't take it anymore. Everybody ages, right? We cannot reverse the effects of aging. So I decided to start this segment Weird But True because I wanted to kind of look for weird ways in which tech is being applied to solve common issues. And this common issue kind of unites all of us, and that's aging. Yeah. And so I found this instance where, and this is from USA Today, where and the headline is "Caregiving Goes Digital and Let Boomers Age in Place." And so basically it starts off with the family, and they were worried sick that their father was not calling. I mean, they would try to call their father and he didn't answer the phone for like a day, they just couldn't get a hold of him. And so they freaked out. They thought something happened. It turns out he had just been gardening all day.
Oh, gosh.
So he was okay, but at the same time, it kind of tells us where we're at, right? So, yeah, so, the people everybody loves their mom and father and their family, and we all want everybody to be okay.
Right.
So the sisters, they decided to resort to technology to solve this problem. And now they have their father walking around. They're tracking their father basically on a 24/7 basis for peace of mind. But they know he's okay. And you know what? The father is such a cool camper. He is absolutely okay with that.
That's cool. That is cool. I love it. So how are they tracking him? What are they using?
They are tracking him by using 6 small accelerometers to detect his movement around the house. It's a $149 wireless monitoring kit, which comes with with these 6 accelerometers. I'm sure you can buy more. But yeah, they know that their father's alive. That he's watching TV. And so here we have a weird case of technology, but I think that the use is
awesome.
It's a good one, right?
It's awesome. It really kind of keeps them. Yeah, I mean, it keeps them, to be able to check on the dad and see where he is and see what he's, that he's all right, by moving around and stuff. That's a great idea. I like it a lot. It's interesting, and I'm guilty as charged. If I call up my parents and I don't hear from them, I get worried, and vice versa. I told them, it's like, you should, get a hold of. And my father laughed at this. I said, you should call me and make certain that I'm okay and that I'm home, every day, because if something ever happens to me, then what's going to happen to Leo, Ricky, and Giorgio, my bird, my cat, and my dog.
Right.
And he laughed. He said, "No, that's what you should be asking us to do. You should be you should be checking on us every day."
Exactly.
And, it should be the reverse. And he was laughing, and I was like, "Well, yeah, that's true too." But I call them every day, and if I don't get a hold of them, I go, like a crazy, I don't know, stalker or something, and I call every phone and multiple times and do find friends and try to find them. Yeah.
Well, I just, my mother, she's in home health, and I think it's interesting because she's used to going to these homes to provide assistance in some form or fashion. Mm-hmm. And most of the time, if a family member finds out that something happened to their loved one, it's normally in these cases where people such as my mother goes to check up on them. But now, there's kind of a digital way of keeping track. So keeping track of your loved one. And so you don't have to rely on, I believe, depending on what type of care you have with whomever, it could be anywhere from a day or a week before, if something had happened, you would actually know. Mm-hmm. The caregiver can't be everywhere at all times. So it's pretty cool to be using technology to kind of provide this same functionality that we use to find life in space. The Siri at home did this. You just do nothing but monitor radio waves for something, and this is kind of the same concept, just monitoring radio waves for life and at home.
It's very cool. It's and it's a lot less intrusive than having a video camera would be inside the place, or an audio thing or something, so.
Well, funny you mention that, because maker of wearable 3G device, this Australian startups called Olo Mobile, has a chip that it's a wearable device, and it's designed to protect seniors and young children. It basically allows you to phone home, because one of the problems that the creator had was that his great aunt fell and fractured her hip, and it took her hours to call for help.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sad.
And so he looked frantically for some, we've all heard the commercial, help, I've fallen, I can't get up. Yeah. But this is this is more in tune with the internet system. Like it'll instantly send an SMS as opposed to a phone call to, like hospital or a dispatch of some sort. It'll actually call the family member that you set it up with.
That's great. Very nice.
Yeah.
So Olo Mobile, and is this available
Olo
now
Mobile.
for purchase?
Well, it's in
$99.
Australia. It's an Australian startup, but I think it would be a great idea for phones today. All you need is an app that you can just press. So this got me thinking, why isn't there some type of government subsidy or initiative to arm senior citizens with smartphones?
Yeah.
And then I discovered that probably only there's actually 34%. Okay, let me rephrase. So I discovered this finding it's a study done by Pew Research, and they found that 15% of American adults ages 18 and older do not use the internet or email. And they said the main reason, 34% of non-internet users think the internet is just not relevant to them. And then it breaks down, basically the research covers 18 and older, but it was our elderly that do not think that the internet is relevant to them. That's why they don't have smartphones, because, why should I get a smartphone that doesn't do anything for me?
Yeah. Also smartphones for them are very, very challenging. They look at it and they just don't, the average senior citizen just doesn't really, they just don't like it. And the issue is that they weren't born with this technology. They were born in a different era. It's not wired into their brain the way it's wired into our brains, and the way it's so beautifully wired into the children of today. And I wish I were a child today. I mean, but and that's what it is. So they have this barrier. While some seniors might pick it up better than others, they still have a barrier to it, and it's wired into them. It's just part of who they are. So that's, it's a challenge for them. I'm very fortunate that both of my parents my father is pretty tech savvy and does pretty well and listens. All I have to do is explain it to him, and he grasps it very quickly. And my mother, it takes a few times for her, but fortunately my father is there to help. But I don't know. I noticed this a lot though with seniors. I live in a neighborhood where the majority of my neighbors are retired and maybe in their 80s, 90s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and they are. I'm on the community. I did the community website, and some of the board members are these seniors, and some of them just do not even check their email. They don't respond to my replies, or they don't respond to me at all. And I think it's it's because they just, a computer to them is like, I don't know. What it's like a toaster, or not even a toaster. Even a toaster. They use a toaster every day.
But exactly. That's my point. These same people drive an automobile, which I would say is much more of a technological challenge to master than operating a smartphone.
So, yeah, that's true. But they just see it, and they just have this. It's a barrier that they can't seem to get past. My thing is, I don't think that we should have them Yeah, I mean, I think we need to find like this solution that he has, the Olo, is just a button that's being pushed.
Just the one button.
It needs to be just a simple solution like that. I don't think, like you had mentioned, forcing tech on your wife and with teachers. I don't think that it's fair for us to force tech on the seniors. And not to sound morbid, but they probably will be going in 20 years or so. And I hate even saying that, but that's part of our life. That's part of our life cycle. It just, the old die off and then they are, they come back and we have all these, then they're born into the tech era, so it's just kind of the way it works.
I don't really want to force tech to, to our aging population today, but what I think could be better, and we again alluded to this in our last episode when we talked about women and how tech is perceived in women. There's a great deal of education that can be done from magazines, from clinics, from hospitals, from anybody that interacts with our elderly, where they can actually prove or show to the 65 and over group that technology is okay and it actually does solve problems. I think that's the problem, is that no one's really sitting down with our aging population and telling them, look, you've had a great run here. You've lasted a long time on this planet. And guess what? There is now technology out there that will help you find your long lost cousin, and help
you keep in touch with the grandchildren on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the grandchildren on Facebook probably aren't even going to care about their family tree once grandma goes. No. I'm surprised we need to keep the ideas from our elders present in mind. And everybody is using technology today, and I think the world would benefit if our elderly were engaged electronically.
And I think that Apple's done a wonderful job with the creation of the iPad and iOS, because of the fact that my aunt, for example, she is in her 60s. Late 60s. She's not good with the computer at all whatsoever, but she's a master of her iPad, and the late 60s is not even old, in my opinion. But my point is the fact that she's not tech savvy in the least bit, and she can master the iPad I don't know anyone really older that's using the iPad, but I'm sure there's a lot of elderly that probably are, and if the 2-year-old can do it, a 90-year-old can do it, so in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And, unfortunately, with the introduction of iOS 7, I think that made things a little more difficult because it was so different that it could have undesired effects. It could actually push people away from this device, which is so simple to use. Yeah. But, in
regards to the older generation and keeping tabs on them, I like this device. I think, and you had mentioned rigging up smart homes for seniors, and I think that would be overall, not just even from the little what do they call them, the sensors, but just to maybe even to add some more technology within the home. I don't know what, but.
I think you want camera-enabled helicopters.
I love
floating around the window.
Yes, taking pictures and having video camera on them and spying on them so I could see where they are. I bought a Piper, Piper, off of Indiegogo, and I think it was supposed to arrive in December, but I don't think it will come here until like January or something. But it's kind of like a drop cam, it's a camera that, it's like home automation. So we'll record what's going on in the home, as well as I'll be able to remote into it and turn off the lights and make certain the doors are locked and things like that. And I love it. I love the idea of it. And I was just thinking that'd be kind of cool to get from my parents, but it'd be so obtrusive or intrusive. What am I saying? Obtrusive.
Yeah,
Intrusive.
I can definitely see the sit down and just get a nice bottle of vino and
And
sit him
watch.
down and no, just sit him down and say, you know what, we're getting older in this life, and um, I'm basically wiring your house with total surveillance package, and it's going to be installed Tuesday. So
Ah!
don't worry.
You are
It's
now
just
the new
gonna help me with my
stars.
peace of mind.
Stars in the Truman Show.
That's right. I'm not recording this. This is not going on Facebook. Maybe YouTube. Maybe the funny bits.
That's funny.
Well, AT&T has what they call at home. Have you heard about their at home package?
No, I haven't.
At home basically is AT&T's way of rigging up the entire house.
Ah.
Digital Life. I'm sorry. Digital Life is what they're calling it. It's home security and automation. But it's kind of like this. I'm looking at the Piper device on Indiegogo, and it's quite an impressive device. Just imagine it plugged into AT&T's central servers. And yeah, on one hand, it could be great for the elderly, but on the other, it could be great for the government too. So
That's true. That's true. You have to be careful with that.
yeah.
So,
But no, I think it's it's weird, but it's a question that us youngins are going to have to start answering. As the population ages, how are we going to keep tabs of our parents that we're responsible for so much change in the world that we're living in today, and most of them, I say most because I can say that definitively, most of them probably want to live on their own terms, but where's the compromise? And I think rigging up the house with total surveillance packages is that compromise.
I like that. That's
I say, okay, fine. If you want the house, that's fine, but you're going to have to be monitored.
okay.
So.
Here's another suggestion, but this is assuming that your parents are Android users, which they might not be. Mine are not. But if they are an Android user, this is a little tidbit I have. There's an app called Cerebus Anti-Theft, and if you install this app on their phone and just tell them you're just doing some anti-theft stuff on their phone, it will allow you to track their phone no matter where they go. So you'll see where they go. It will allow you to take a picture whenever, record video whenever, record audio whenever, send a message to the phone, even if it's off, and just really have control of this device. And it's really quite a good little service. So it's like I believe it's $3 for up to 5 lines. And it's worth it. So anyway, I have this on a family member's phone, and I keep track of that.
So is there a plus option of this? So what if it's not family member? What if it's like someone else you want to do this to?
You would have
is there like an additional fee?
No, there's not an additional fee. It's just you would basically have to create an account with them, right? So I have an account, and I can have up to 5 phones. In fact, I need to remove some phones off there. And you have to install the app on the phone.
Let's hope you didn't trade any of these phones into Gazelle or anything.
No, let me see. I'm logging in now. I'm just kind of to see what I have on there. Actually, let's see. Account. Let me see how many phones I have. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Maybe we shouldn't disclose this on the podcast.
No, this one I need to. Let me just see what happens. It should be disconnected. Let me track it and see where. Is that right?
So someone's going to be driving into an airport because you just shut off their phone.
No, that can't be right. This has got to be showing something older. Let me try another phone here. I have phones on here that I don't use anymore, so I need to switch it up. And so let's see. I'm going to that one. Now I'm going to go to one that I just sent back just the other day and see if it pops up. Just for fun. Okay. Well, it would be better if you had
visuals.
That can't be right.
Uh-oh. What are we seeing? Little blips moving on the screen? What?
No,
Tell me
I wiped
what's
that
happening.
device. I think it's seeing something that was from before. That can't be right because I wiped that device before I sent it back.
So what are you
No, it
seeing?
just says it's at the Raleigh Convention Center. That can't
Oh
be
my
right.
goodness.
That can't be right. That can't. It's got to be. That's got to be going off an old. What in the world? That's got to be going off an old time that I was there.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. It's old because if I go connection status, problem communicating with your device. That's the last device. That's the last location. Last time I tracked it, that's where it was. That's what it is. So it
Oh,
says
so you felt like you were being monitored, and that's where you shut it down
no. That's
at the convention center. You're like, it's getting too heated. I can't lose this
I
guy.
gotta turn this guy down. I gotta
That's
turn him
right.
off. So I gotta delete this. I don't even know how to delete it off the account, but I gotta delete it. Anyway, there's another phone on here that is being tracked right now, and if I go there, I see that this phone right now is at Office Depot in Charlotte, North Carolina.
But you're talking on the podcast right now. I don't think you're at Office Depot.
No, not me. This
Oh.
is a family member's phone.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Perhaps Christmas shopping.
And then, oh, wait, let's see. So the commands, I can get the device info, get a location history. I can lock it, unlock it, start an alarm, record audio, take a picture, capture video, get a screenshot.
Oh,
Anyway,
so why don't you click on get a picture on the phone that's at Office Depot? What do you see?
okay, let me see. Hopefully, take picture immediately.
You see like a
It's probably
purse.
gonna be, yeah, it's probably gonna be a purse. Okay, so let me see now. It should, it should send me an email now with the picture. Yeah, it's picture taken. It's just fabric.
It is fabric.
Yeah, it's fabric. It's
Okay.
It's blue fabric.
So this probably isn't. So the photo mode is probably not something for females because well, I guess guys carry the phones in their pocket. So what about audio? So how does the audio work? It turns on the phone?
Yeah, it just starts recording audio.
Whoa. That's awesome.
Yeah, this phone is really, or this app is really awesome. I mean, it's meant for security, so that it's not meant for stalking. And I don't use it to stalk. I only use it to keep track of my loved ones.
Although we just did.
We just did, yeah, for the sake of the show. But I never do audio or anything like that. I just use it to keep track of my loved ones, just to know where they are, what's going on, But yeah, and it just makes me feel safer. But it is, if I have this on my phone and if someone steals my phone, I can see where it has been and communicate with the person. I can wipe the device. I can reboot the device. I can, have complete control of the phone. Anyway, I think this is a good thing to put on your parents' phones.
Yeah, no, I mean, to conclude, that's a great point because, just recently there have been, well, obviously this is a problem, but when a child goes missing, or your family member who may have dementia, the first thing the police asks is like basic stuff, like where do you think they were last, and all this stuff, and that's something that it sounds like this app could provide like right off the bat.
It would. And then it also shows their call log. So you can see their call log. You can see their SMS log.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. You can send an SMS to the phone, and it does a lot. It's really a great app. Right, I see right now she's at Rite Aid Pharmacy.
Wow. Okay, so she's probably staying in line. She probably has one of those blasted coupons.
It looks like
And
she's
so-
in the car, so I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, so she just got in the car?
Well, the blue dot shows like she's sitting in the parking lot.
Huh.
Yeah.
Maybe she's looking at a receipt.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe she.
Maybe.
Oh, wait. No. Now it shows that she is in another place. I don't know.
Interesting. The plot thickens.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to stop stalking her. That's not nice. I'm going to close it. There.
Okay, so if you want to, I think we gave people several options, and and a way to stalk others too. If you're
Yes.
into switching people's phones around, like Mission Impossible style.
Funny, 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 funny. Well, I'll put a link to that app in the show notes here for you.
Definitely would like for that,
Yeah.
and you know, I think it's something that it's a conversation that my generation, that Generation X, is going to be having for the next 10 years is
Yeah.
what to do with our family.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Or fortunately, maybe it's a good thing that
Yeah.
we know that they're safe.
Yeah, it is a good thing that we have the technology to be able to help with these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
well, okay, let's wrap it up.
I got to ask one quick question before we
Okay.
wrap it up. So I guess this episode will come out right around Thanksgiving, so right around Black Friday time, I would imagine.
That is correct.
So do you have any hot item that you're going to be buying on Black Friday that you're actually going to go stand in line for?
I am looking for a 128 gig USB stick to complement a PS4. I
Okay.
hopefully will get for Christmas.
Nice.
I think I've spotted the stick. I spotted the price at around $30. That's the one I'm looking for.
Excellent.
Yeah, so that's pretty good.
That's really good. That's
Yeah.
really, really nice.
Yeah, you're not going to see a Cyber Monday deal like that.
No.
So, I'm also scoping out a Mophie juice pack for my phone, and I believe they're on sale for like $30.
Good. Well, those
Yeah.
are good, and they're affordable, so you're not going to overly spend.
Well, I have a budget.
Yeah.
I have a budget for Black Friday, so yeah, it should be fun. And I do have a friend that's going with me, and unfortunately, he's looking for a PS4. So
Oh gosh.
yeah, I don't know. He may not come out with a console,
I would be
but
afraid.
who knows? What about you?
I can't think of anything that I need at the store. I will tell you I'm very tempted. There is a pre-holiday VIP event at Sam's Club tonight from 7 to 9 p.m. And we are recording this on Sunday, November 24th. And in this event has some incredible prices. Like there's I do like Samsung TVs. There's a 50-inch LED for $668, a 55-inch LED for only $848, and then here's a 60-inch LED for $1,148, and those are all Samsungs.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I mean and then they also have I have a 70-inch Vizio LED for only $998, and
Yeah,
here's
but you'll need a truck to get that thing
70-inch,
out.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but it's just I'm not gonna buy it. But and here's another one, a 50-inch LED for only $389. And
A 50-inch.
50.
Is this a Vizio?
no, that one is TCL.
Oh, okay.
TCL.
So the Samsungs, are they smart TVs?
Those are
Do
the
they
smart
get the apps?
TVs, which
Very cool.
yeah. Actually, I'd rather it not be the smart. I don't
Really?
I don't like the Samsung smart stuff. I don't mind it having Wi-Fi, but I don't know. Unless if they've updated their smart TV, then great. But from what I've seen over the past couple of years, their smart apps are not too smart.
Well, I just got a Chromecast yesterday, so
yeah.
I've been playing around with that. And now that HBO Go is available for Chromecast, I was like, all in.
Nice.
'Cause I still have one flat screen that doesn't have Apple TV, and Chromecast was the best way to go. So, I've been playing around with that and streaming a lot of tabs to my television set. So that's always cool. Yeah, it's interesting because I think, people like you and I, we already kind of have our streaming solutions set. So we're either streaming from laptop but there are other people that don't have the Apple TVs and don't have the Chromecast, although why they don't have a Chromecast, I don't know. But, so they do find some significance in the smart TV, but yeah. So I see where you're going with that. But I mean, for that price point, you're not even.
No,
You're getting a great screen.
It's a great screen, yeah. I mean, it's really, and I don't need. I have mine, is a little bit dated, but it's a 56-inch DLP, but it works beautifully and it looks gorgeous. So I really don't have a need for one now. I'll wait a few years. They also have the Galaxy S4 for only 96 cents. But granted, I'm not a fan of that phone, but other people are, and. But they won't. Huh?
So where is this the deal that we were talking? Is this through Sprint or?
No, this is Sam's Club.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Sam's Club doesn't have other carriers?
Oh, they do. They have Sprint, AT&T, Verizon, but it's 96 cents with all carriers.
Oh, very cool.
So it's the 5C.
Wow.
Only on Sunday night, which after this, of course, if you're listening to this right now, it's afterwards, so I'm sorry.
Oh, wow. So my friend looking for the Sony Xperia, he was also asking me how much trade-in value he could get for his iPhone, for one of his older iPhones. Unfortunately, I went to the Apple site, and for the original iPhone 8 gig, you get nothing back. There's no trade-in value. There's like a zero.
Oh, wow. What about a Gazelle or something?
Well, I didn't try Gazelle, but now I could tell him, but if you're willing to wait in the line, now there's a 5C for $1.
Yeah.
It's a 5C?
5C.
iPhone.
Yeah, iPhone 5C,
Wow,
96
that's a
cents.
great deal.
At the event, he has to be a Sam's Club Plus member.
Okay.
And it is tonight in all states except for Utah and Idaho. Their time is different, but tonight from 7 to 9 p.m. And
so I have a little treat for our listeners because thank you for listening to the show. I appreciate it, and we've just been getting great feedback through Google Plus, iTunes, and wherever. And keep it coming. We love the feedback. But I'm going to be trying to record live, standing in line. And I think the temperatures aren't going to be that frigid. So, so now the only limitation would be the Wi-Fi or the signal at where we're going to be. But it's pretty populated and it's a good part of the city. So I thought, oh man, I could really upload some footage here. So I am going to try to upload some footage. Maybe get some tips and tricks from some of the people in line. And just show some of the chaos.
Awesome. I can't wait. I hope you get some good shots. That's
Jennifer,
great.
you can live vicariously through the Tech Anarchy Google Plus page.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to that. Good deal.
All right. But yeah, it's exciting. And this is a holiday week. So, I just want everybody to be safe out there. And
have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And we're thankful for you. Thankful for you listening. And I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And happy Thanksgiving to you, Jennifer.
Yes.
And have a great holiday.
Thank you. Same to you.
And next time we are going to chat, it's going to be December. So lots of Christmas news.
Wow. Looking forward to it. That'll be fun.
It will be fun. And with that, that's a wrap.